Sit. Down. Stand. Good dog. Go. So as you guys saw in the last video, Storm Barra arrived earlier than expected, and the snow started coming in, which basically made my time on the ground limited to be able to find a new camp location. So that's why I'm back today. This part of the woods is so dense though, I'm gonna have to kind of work my way around and see if I can find an opening. If you've ever wondered how dense this woods gets, well, this is a great example just behind me here. Just through there looks like the perfect location, if it opens up, that is, because we've got all these conifer type trees that conceal the shelter and give it really good coverage. But to get through there, you'd get cut to bits because you've got to walk through all of this, and it is so dense. But maybe that's what I have to do. Maybe I have to start pushing through stuff like this to find the gold at the end of the rainbow, so to speak, the perfect location to set up camp. I like when I'm walking through the woods, coming across areas like this, it's kind of like its own little ecosystem underneath all these fallen trees. Just, I mean, it looks like there's even like an overhanging little cave or something there. It's not a cave, but you know, it looks like that. And there's water under there, there's thick green moss still growing. But yeah, it's almost like its own little world taking shape underneath all these fallen trees. It'd be great if I could get through there, but it's just too dense. And I mean, once I get through to the other side, I could be faced with more of the same stuff, so it's kind of pointless at this stage. When I first started out making content, it was me in the woods doing bushcraft, but I was also talking about some of the creepy sightings and reports that come from these areas alongside that as well. And I soon realised that the audience was divided. So whenever I would talk about the UFO stuff and the creepy stuff, I would lose maybe the bushcraft audience. And whenever I would talk about the bushcraft side of things, I would lose the creepy side of things, like the audience that wants to come here for the UFOs and cryptid sightings. So I created another channel, which means I've now got two channels, 401 Files, which is creepy, and Bushcraft Basics with Ben, which is all about the bushcraft side of things. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to come to this hotspot area here where I have been working for the 401 Files now for 4 years, talking about strange cryptids, and I'm going to build my shelter here. I'll do that every Monday. And then on a Tuesday, right next to that camp, I'll be building another camp for the bushcraft side of things. And the great thing about that is if something does happen that's creepy while I'm out filming for the Bushcraft channel, I can get that footage, capture it on my phone, and stick that into the next week's 401 Files footage as well. So everybody gets the best of both worlds. And yeah, I think that will really, really work quite well, because some people do just want to watch the bushcraft side of things, me building a shelter, and some people really do like to see both, and others only the paranormal side of things. So that's the only way I can keep everybody happy, I'm afraid. I'm just going to venture back to where I last found that skeleton of the deer, see if anything's changed. A few people in the comments actually said to look closely at the bones to see if there's any teeth marks. It's a struggle to even find my way back to the skeleton. Like, it's so disorientating once you've left the area and you turn back around. Everything looks the same. I mean, if you are a fan of tree structures, like these weird breaks and formations that trees fall in or are positioned in, then you'd have a whale of a time in here, because, I mean, there's X's everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's just trees fallen in the formation of X's and other weird formations. So I found my way back here. As you can see, guys, there's a second kill site here, which is a clear indication now that something is bringing food, prey into this area and devouring it, basically. This is obviously a bird of some kind, lots of feathers everywhere. And over here we have some skeletal remains. Not sure what these belong to, or what this once was, but yeah, just another indication that whatever is in this area hunting is bringing food into very close proximity of each other, which in my mind makes this a kill zone. It's catching things and bringing it back here, because here we have the feathers and the skeletal remains, and literally less than 10 meters over this way somewhere is the skeletal remains of the deer. So whatever it is killing things in this area, this is its preferred area to lay down, relax and finish the meal. Had its throat ripped out. That's weird. So at first glance, this dead hare really did have me puzzled. To anybody else, this may have just been a dead hare and really didn't require any more explanation. But for me, and the way my mind works, something didn't add up. The first thing that I found quite odd was that this hare had been left with no further injuries anywhere else on its body. I assumed that if this was a fox kill, then likely the fox wouldn't have left such a valuable meal behind. And so I started my process of elimination. Was this a bird of prey? Well, no, because birds of prey usually stand on top of their victims and rip away at the fur in order to expose the meat. The lack of fur laying around the hare quickly ruled this idea out. So was this a dog attack? Well, dogs usually maul their victims to death and inflict multiple wounds all over the body. But due to the lack of damage to the body and no signs of a struggle or signs to suggest that the hare had even been shaken violently, I quickly ruled this idea out as well. It clearly wasn't the bite of a stoat or a weasel, because the bite was just too big. I was also quite puzzled by the lack of blood. Not a single drop of blood was on the hare itself or in the surrounding area. The throat is a very delicate area that houses many veins and many arteries, meaning that if this area was to be bitten, then you would expect to see a large pool of fresh blood. So what the hell happened here? Later that next day, after speaking to a few other people in the field, I think I finally found my answer. This seems to be a different part of the woods completely. It's opened out a little bit now. I've come into some kind of like opening where the trees, or the species of trees, has changed as well. So let's see what this has to offer. Because these kind of trees, these Christmas trees, as people know them by, seem to be a lot more stronger than some of the dead standing crap that's in there. And it's a lot more shielded, a lot more secluded in this area. I find walking through areas like this actually a lot more creepy than walking through the dense stuff. I'm not sure why that is. But yeah, definitely a feeling right now of unease. Is that because there is more light in this area? But I don't know what it is, but yeah. Just reporting how I'm feeling at this point. All day I've been fine. Just ventured into that area there where it's Christmas trees quite close together, and felt a definite feeling of unease. So just mentioning that should anything happen from this point onwards. I'm leaving that area now anyway and heading back where I just came. Becoming really frustrated at this point. Really frustrated. I just got a really weird whiff of something. I can't smell it now, but it smelled like cannabis, which is strange. Yeah, weird. Anyway, as I was saying, getting really frustrated at this point because I don't want to walk too far away from camp, but around camp there is nothing, so I really don't want to start again. I really do not want to start cutting fresh pieces of wood again, spending 2 days just building up the camp, coming back and forth for a matter of 2 weeks or something. I just can't do that. Well, I could, but I've been there and I've done it. And that's the most frustrating part, is that the shelter is actually there, it's all intact, the wood is usable again. I just can't find the place to set it up. Today's not been a failure in my eyes. It's always nice to get back out to these locations, and even if I haven't found the ideal location yet to set up camp again, it's not a day wasted in my eyes, because like I say, sitting at home on the sofa will almost guarantee that I'm not going to find that place. So I need to get back out here and keep my eyes peeled, keep checking, and eventually that place will turn up. We can start building camp again and move forward from there. But today I haven't found it. Like I said, one last place to check before I head to the car. Fingers crossed it produces something good, but if not, I'll just keep coming back and doing this time and time again until I do get that place, because I can't be without shelter. I need somewhere that I can come, relax, and talk to you guys about all these things that we love to discuss. So yeah, I'm not marking today off as a failure, but as of now, I haven't found the place to start building again. Good morning, people. This is day 2. So this is the day after the part of the video you've just watched. And I'm heading back out to the moors this morning, super early. I've got a game camera with me, which is big news for the channel. I'm going to set up the game camera and hopefully we can pick up something tomorrow, which will be day 3 when I go back to retrieve it. And I've also got some latex gloves with me as well, because I want to just check over that rabbit a bit more. After speaking with a few people last night, I think I've now kind of narrowed it down to what caused this. So yeah. I watched a video as well, which was pretty accurate and makes sense. But I'll let you guys know a bit more about that once we get there. As you can see, guys, I'm back out here again. And today's day 2, as I've already mentioned. There's a fog that's laid in right across the moors today. I've just checked the weather forecast and it doesn't look like it's moving anytime soon. So the whole surrounding area right now is very, very creepy. I got home last night, I went on the computer and I typed in a few things that I thought it might be. And I think now it's quite safe to say that this is a fox kill. Some people might be screaming at the camera right now saying, well, that was obvious. But I couldn't understand why a fox would leave it behind. I mean, out here where food is quite scarce, you would expect a fox to take this away and make the most of every part of the body. And it didn't make sense to me why the fox would just leave it. But I think the kill and the wound here around the neck is consistent with a fox kill. They do grab hares by the throat, and a lot of the time they will run off into the woods and eat the whole thing. But for whatever reason, I'm assuming that this fox on this occasion was startled by something and decided to leave it behind, and coincidentally hasn't come back for it. So yeah, that's the mystifying bit as to why the fox was startled and ran away. But I think now it is safe to say that this was a fox kill. Why it's left it behind, I'm not quite sure of that. And why there's no blood, I just assume that this was killed somewhere else and dragged over this way before it was dropped. So I think it's quite conclusive with the video that I'll show you guys in a minute of how a fox kills a hare. The importance of investigating every fine detail should never be overlooked. In the end, my conclusion to how the dead hare came to be was an obvious one. But it's these small and sometimes overlooked details that could one day lead us to the smoking gun. Scat, a strand of hair, a fingernail, a single tooth. These are all very minute details, but ones that give us a lifetime of information. stay. Across. So I've just made my way down and off this hill, across the beck, and I'm now going to push up through these trees that are in front of me, and hopefully up here somewhere we can find a flat piece of ground and maybe some dead standing trees. Now these are young saplings by the look of it, which isn't great, and I probably won't be able to set up in this immediate area here, so I'm going to have to push right through all this and see what this coughs up at the other side. On you go. Over. No, well, I can't go that way. Let's go this way. This way. Oh. Good girl, good girl. Oh, God. I might have to get the drone up just so I can get an idea of... Whoa. Just so I can get an idea of where the hell I'm heading. Lily's being weird. She's picked up on the scent. So I'm hoping that there's no one else in this woods. But she's definitely picked up on something. Okay, though, calm down. This way. This way. This way. So this is the game camera that I've bought, and this is what I'm going to put up tonight and come back maybe in about 2 days time. I'm not sure which way I'm going to aim the camera just yet. I don't want to give too much away, but I will put it out of sight obviously, and fingers crossed guys, we come back to something on the game camera. Right guys, I am really beginning to become discouraged and a bit disheartened when it comes to finding this new location, because I've been all over today. I'm knackered, I'm wet, and I just want to get somewhere found, like a level piece of ground where I can start building the camp again and stuff, but it's just so difficult. You would expect to find somewhere where I can pick up and start building a camp again, but I haven't found anywhere. I've set the game camera up now though, so I will be back either tomorrow or a few days from now to retrieve that, and the search continues, but I'm just so disheartened at this point, like really disheartened. So this is day 3, I'm back up quite early and I'm about to head out to pick up the game cam that I placed out on the moors last night. So I'm super excited because this is my first time dealing or playing around with a game cam, so I'd be interested to know what's on it, if anything at all. I think the biggest problem that I have is on the game camera, there is no way of seeing the composition before you decide to walk away and leave it. So what I'm saying by that is you literally have to just play it by eye, and hopefully you've got everything in shot the way that you wanted it to be. So that's a bit of a downside to it, a bit of a flaw, but again, fingers crossed, everything is in shot and we've got something on there to look back at. So the good news is that the game camera was still there. And now I'm super excited just to get back, put this on my computer and see if we've got anything. It'd be nice even if we just had like a deer or a fox come through. And ideally I could do with more than just one game camera to heighten my chances of finding anything. I mean, just having one is kind of not going to be a high success rate, I don't imagine, but yeah, I'm still excited. I'm still really keen to get back and have a look. And I shall show you guys the footage if there is anything worthy of a discussion. So I've just got back and I've uploaded the memory card from the game camera to the computer. And unfortunately, there is nothing on there. So the only things that was captured was me leaving the camera after setting it up and then returning the following morning. But that's not too much of a big issue. I'm not upset about that. It's been nice to try and find my way around the camera, see how things work. And yeah, ideally now though, what I would need is more than one game camera, like 3 or 4. And one night just isn't long enough to capture anything really. So maybe 3 or 4 nights, then return and pick up the cameras will give me better results. So yeah, I just thought I'd give you a heads up. Nothing has been detected as of last night, but I'm going to do this again in future videos for longer periods of time and hopefully as time goes by with more cameras.